Ice Road, a movie which sees Liam Neeson play a truck driver who has to travel along a treacherous road in order to save some miners from a mine collapse. Lawrence Fishburne's in there too. And before we jump into the review for The Ice Road, I'd appreciate if you did me one little favour. That's if you haven't done it already, jump below this video and hit that subscribe button for new content every single week. This movie caught my eye on Amazon Prime. Some countries it's out on Netflix, some countries it's out on Amazon Prime. For me here in Ireland, it was on Amazon Prime. This movie is just under 2 hours. It's an hour and 50 minutes long. And I can say this movie could have very easily been 1 hour long. Didn't need to be any more. It probably could have been 20 minutes. It's like a short film they stretched and stretched and stretched to see how much they could get out of it. This film is something of a conundrum because looking at the production values of it, and the overall story of it, it really makes me wonder how they got someone like Liam Neeson and Lawrence Fishburne to be in there as major characters in the movie. Now, Lawrence Fishburne, spoiler alert, he gets killed off less than halfway through the movie. I think it's like 40 minutes he gets killed off. Maybe Liam Neeson needs the payday, or maybe he's just bored at home and just wants to keep doing movies for the sake of it. But The Ice Road is one of the worst movies I've watched in a long time. I've got to say it. It had potential to be quite interesting. You know, shows like Ice Road Truckers have become phenomenons over the years because they're interesting. A movie based around the same type of thing was actually fairly boring. In fact, for the majority of this movie, I had to struggle not to pick up my phone, and anytime I did pick up my phone, I had to snap myself back to attention and rewind a little bit just to get back in the movie. Now, you could say that's a flaw of my character, but it doesn't happen with other movies as often as it did with this one. The pacing of the movie isn't great. The first, I'd say, 20 to 30 minutes is completely unnecessary, bar showing the mine collapse at the start of the movie. The scene where Lawrence Fishburne ultimately gets killed off, that could have been the start of the movie and been an action-packed movie where they're traveling down the ice road, the ice begins to crack, they're in a race against time, you know, Lawrence Fishburne gets killed, then they're racing away from the ice which is cracking and both trucks tip over. That was an exciting scene, possibly the best part of the entire movie. But everything else leading up to that part was boring, was unnecessary, and was some of the worst acting I've ever seen from some of the side actors. The level of acting in this movie, bar from some of the main characters, is actually pretty damn poor. On top of that, the movie is filled with some terrible, terrible CGI on the level of something you'd see from a Sci-Fi Channel movie.
Holy shit!
It's that level of CGI. It's terrible, beyond terrible special effects. Now, you can sometimes forgive poor special effects and even poor production values if the story is good. But this movie is layered with so much bad CGI, bad story, bad production values, terrible, terrible choice of music throughout the movie. It's almost like stock music, but some of the music is just so super generic TV movie type music that just doesn't fit the movie. Music can make or break a movie sometimes, and this is definitely a case of break. This is a movie which could have had suspense-filled scenes with music driving the action and driving the suspense, but we never quite get that with this movie. It's more edging on the cheesy side of things and generic action movie that you'll get on some websites that sell royalty-free music. You know, the first track that pops up when you open up the website, that's what you're getting here. And then overall, you've got the main story, which is weak at best. They have a noble goal. They're going to save these miners, and they've got a race against time to get there to save these people trapped in the mine. And of course, they've got this dangerous road to go along. They've got everything they need to make an interesting story, and then they throw in the little tidbit of there being an evil corporation guy who caused a mine collapse, and his goon is with the truckers somehow, and he's trying to sabotage the truckers and kill them all off and stop them getting to the mine, because I guess the race against time in the freezing conditions wasn't exciting enough for the filmmakers here. Even though I think this is very much a case with this movie of trying to do too much within your story. The elements could have been the bad guy in itself. You didn't need the generic, you know, oil baron type of guy who was like trying to, why was he even trying to cause the mine to collapse? I can't even remember. For a movie that has Liam Neeson and Lawrence Fishburne in it, both actors deserve better. They've done some fantastic work throughout their careers, and when I see both of those actors on a poster, my mind instantly thinks this is going to be a good movie. And yet again, I've been let down. Not the actors' fault. They did their best with what they're given. You know, the overall material is very, very poor. Now, I've watched some very bad movies recently, so I'm kind of in like a train of bad movies. Where does Ice Road sit in relation to recent movies I've watched? It's definitely one of the worst movies I've watched in a long time. I seem to be saying that a lot lately. The Ice Road just couldn't keep my attention. The CGI was terrible, as I said, the music was terrible, the story was terrible, and overall the filmmaking was pretty damn bad. So then it comes down to the rating, and I don't think any of you will be surprised. I'm going to give this one a very low rating, very low indeed, a 2 out of 10. Do not waste your time on The Ice Road if you haven't seen it already. I probably spoiled a bit in my little ramble about it. But if you've seen The Ice Road, whether you love it or you hate it, let me know your thoughts on The Ice Road in the comment section below. And with another movie review out of the way, thank you so much for watching.